Brother Ron, and welcome to We All Be News Radio and TV, the news-free Dixie for the 21st century.
Clear. You say anything you want to say to somebody unless A, they're fighting words that produce a breach of the public peace. You know, the case, by the way, comes from Fayette County, Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals, opinion written in 1962 by Justice Bailey Brown from Memphis. And what that word was is they busted these folk up there at that tent city for use of language, and the judge wrote the opinion on the Sixth Circuit. He said, no, they have a right to free speech unless what they're uttering are fighting words that are designed to provoke an immediate physical combat. So now in America, you can say the N-word, the worst, most grievous insult you can give to a black man. Nothing will happen. You can say it all day long, all you want to. But say something that deals with somebody's sexual proclivity, something that deals with somebody's ethnicity, aside from being black and using the N-word. And what do? They permanently ban you. These folk that operate the modern soapboxes, social media. Twitter put it out a couple of years ago that if you did name somebody, in other words, you call Bruce, Caitlin, Bruce again, you did name them, they'll permanently ban you from Facebook. 3 weeks later, Brucey came out and said he wanted to be Bruce again. And even he said it's unfair for men to be allowed to compete against women in women's sports. I was down here at Lowe's, or was it? Yeah, I think it was Lowe's, right here on Winchester. And somebody said, Uncle Joe. And I looked over, there was this beautiful young lady, but her arm was up with a strut down in a full arm and shoulder cast. I said, baby, what happened? Now, her story was that when she was 8 or 9 years old, she wanted to get into martial arts. So she got a scholarship to a major university doing women's wrestling. So she tells me, this was a couple of years ago before COVID hit, she told me, she said, Uncle Joe, I had to compete in this tournament against this boy. And there was another boy in there wrestling his girls. So my teammate and I said, no how, no way. So they told us we'd lose our scholarships and the team would forfeit if we didn't wrestle them. So my homegirl got her jaw broken and put in a coma for 2 days. And I got a compound fracture on my arm, and I've had 3 operations. And she started crying. She said it hurt so bad, but when I take the medication, I can't focus to study. And if I don't take it, I can't stand the pain. What am I supposed to do?
Right.
And I'm thinking all kinds of stuff like this punk ass coward sat there and did that. I wish I could find his ass. But they were just thoughts, because I'm a retired judge. We're not supposed to breach the public peace. But you see, that kind of garbage is going on. So what happens? And by the way, every law that you pass is a two-edged sword and can be swung back the other way. So what happens when this backlash from straight people comes about and they start saying, okay, we feel it is harmful to somebody's physical or mental health when somebody pulls this tranny thing on him and puts him in, why did this punk pick me to try and do I look like, wow. Flip the script. And by the way, In the United States, every survey is consistent. Less than 1%, 0.7% maximum are trannies, transvestites. 1% are lesbians. 1.5% are male homosexuals. Between 1 and 4.5%, depending upon where you are bisexual. So that ranges from 2% to about 4.5% to 7% of the American population, depending upon the locale, are into the LGBTQ thing as practitioners. So that leaves between 95 and 93% of the rest of the public do not swing that way. Now, again, I don't care what you do to get your freak on in your bedroom. That's your right. But a lot of gay folk look at LGBTQ as a cult. And like one of them I know said, look, that's like all Christians aren't supporters or weren't supporters of Branch Davidian.
Right.
All Christians didn't support Jim Jones and drinking the Kool-Aid. All Christians don't support the Catholic Church with its priests molesting all these choir boys and altar boys. And a lot of them profess dislike for what LGBTQ is dealing with, because a lot of them say they wouldn't be in this predicament if they hadn't been molested by a pedophile, either a stranger or somebody who wasn't a stranger. A lot of them say they don't have any problem with the traditional nuclear family. They love the families, and they don't like the fact that some people are trying to destroy it. And what with the demographic changes, where in 20, 25 years, there'll no longer be an ethnic majority in America, we've got some problems, because I can see this whole thing being used for the defense and advancement of certain others. There's another thing that is even scarier. The feds have a thing called being an accessory to or aiding and abetting a lynching. Can you, not a lynching specifically, but you can tack it on the front, aiding and abetting a lynching, which is, remember, it doesn't have to be a homicide anymore. So, yeah, man, kick his fucking ass, man. Yeah, man, he punks you out, man. Aiding and abetting a lynching.
So you mean to tell me they changed the word lynching like they did the word gay? Gay used to mean something else, and now lynching means something else.
Yeah, lynching no longer means a hanging. It no longer means a homicide.
Oh, no.
So you are supposed to be able to get 30 years for your typical lynching case that does not involve homicide. So aiding and abetting puts you into what, 10 years in a federal penitentiary for aiding and abetting a lynching that did not involve a homicide. It was just an ass whooping or a blow or a slap like Will Smith gave to Chris Rock.
You beat up on I guess a so-called gay or homosexual person, but it was not about their sexuality. It was about something else. Because if the person
It's no
whatever they're gonna say, a hate crime.
That's the other thing. I think the whole act is unconstitutional because it's void for vagueness. In other words, there's no way for somebody to intelligently, rationally, and logically look at that new law and say, this is what I have to do and this is what I can do. In other words, effectively, what they've done is chilled somebody's First Amendment rights.
People talking about trusted science, and
by the way, by the way, you know what the Russians are getting a lot of traction on around the world is they're trying to save the world from Nazification by the United States. And they cite this kind of stuff here. the crackdown that American social media has had, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and such like, on free speech, propaganda, which is rife. They're going to use this as an example of Nazification to control the American public. And if they do it to Americans, what would they do to you? Next thing is, just like the United States claimed to be protecting the rest of the world from communism, the Russians are protecting the world from the destruction of the nuclear family, which is the official policy of the United States of America, because LGBTQ has become the official non-secular philosophy. Like Zen isn't technically a religion. It's a philosophy, but it's respected as a religion. You see, Buddha was a real person. He's not a godhead. But there's Zen Buddhism treated as a religion. LGBTQ gets treated as a religion. And the rest of the world is saying, And see, when you look at a U.S. embassy or a U.S. consulate, now they have an American flag at the top of the flagpole and a rainbow flag that is likely to be bigger than the American flag flying under it. American law says you may fly a state flag under the American flag. You may fly the flag of a foreign nation under certain circumstances under an American flag, but you can't fly that kind of flag under an American flag on an American building, governmental building. And by the way, why the hell don't they fly red, black, and green, black nationalist flag? You see?
Why not? Yeah, I mean, hey, everybody, this is Brother Ron. I am asking you all to do me a big favor. Think about supporting the We All Be movement. Your donation is tax deductible. The We All Be Group Incorporated is a recognized 501c3. And I'm just asking you all because I want to keep on bringing y'all quality work through the way that I know how to do best. And I'm going to sing my praises and toot my horn. A lot of y'all were not hip to Dick Gregory until Brother Ron brought him on the We All Be platform, until that Django review we did. Y'all seen another side of Judge Joe Brown, and Judge Joe Brown's message has been amplified. But it was We All Be that brought Judge Joe Brown to y'all back in 2014. And so many others. And we covered so many things. So help us out so we can help you all. Peace.